Hey guys, welcome to Legality Viability. So this is part 2 of the video on business organizations and its forms. So we are going to study about 3 forms of business organization in this video. So let's get started. Partnership firm. So you must have read about partnership in the Partnership Act 1932 in contract law. So what a partnership means is that in section 4 of the Partnership Act it is written that partnership is a relation between persons who have agreed to share profits of a business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. So this is the basic meaning of partnership which is given in the Partnership Act. So what happens in a partnership firm? So when 2 or more people come together, they form a business, they become owners of a business, and if that business or partnership business is known as a partnership firm. So partnership firm, it consists of 2 or more individuals who share ownership in a business together. A partnership is a voluntary association of 2 or more persons to carry on as co-owners of a business for profit. The characteristics of partnership firm, they are apparent from its meaning itself. So there are minimum of 2 partners and maximum of 20 partners in a partnership firm. They have a contractual relationship, and there is a partnership deed in which every detail about the partnership and how they are going to conduct their business is specified clearly in a precise manner. Then there is no separate legal entity, that means there is no separate legal entity of the firm. So all the partners and the partnership firm, they have only one identity, there is no separate legal entity. Then sharing of profits and losses. So all the profits and the losses which the partnership firm incur, they will be shared by all the partners to the firm. So now we come to the advantages of a partnership firm. Easy formation. So easy formation in the sense that in a partnership firm, less formalities are involved in its formation. Also the registration process, its procedure is quite simple and it is less cumbersome. Then large pool of resources. Since it's a partnership firm and there are a lot of partners, so it is very well possible that number of partners will contribute some amount of capital to the firm. So this will lead to larger financial resources for the firm, which might lead to its expansion. So there is scope of expansion and growth of the firm at a later stage. Then comes sharing of risks and better management, since there are a lot of partners in a partnership firm, so they will manage the risk and the businesses of the partnership firm themselves. Then flexibility of operations. The partnership firm doesn't enjoy as much flexibility as there is in sole proprietorship. However, it enjoys sufficient flexibility because they can choose a desired place for their business and the control is in the hands of the partners. Division of profits. All the profits which will be incurred in the partnership firm, it will be divided among the partners themselves. Subject to fewer regulations. So the partnership firm, it is also free from any statutory control by the government. So that is why it is a very big advantage that it is subject to fewer regulations. Advantages of a partnership firm. So the major disadvantages of a partnership firm are unlimited liability. Unlimited liability in a sense that if the firm runs into losses, then all the partners of partnership firm, they will be jointly and severely liable for each other's conduct and for every loss. Okay. Then chances of dispute, no proper agreement. That means that a partnership firm, it is mostly based on a mutual understanding and cooperation basis among the partners. So if there is no cooperation and mutual understanding between partners, obviously problems tend to arise. Then also because there is no central authority and there are only partners who have to discuss and decide all the matters. So due to non-central authority as well, it can lead to disputes between the partners. Lack of continuity. The partnership firm may come to an end at a point of time due to retirement, incapacity, insolvency or death of a partner, and the remaining partners, they may carry on the firm or they may not. So there is lack of continuity, which is a major disadvantage. Difficult to raise capital. At times it will be difficult to raise capital if the firm is running into losses, and any partner does a conduct for which every other partner will be liable. So yeah. Then comes public distrust. Public distrust because a partnership firm, it is not subjected to details, rules and regulations. So it lacks the confidence of the public. Decision making is divided. That is apparent because the partners might have different opinion on different viewpoints on certain matters. So obviously decision making, it is divided. Next type of business organization is a corporation. So a corporation is considered by law to be a unique entity which is separate from those who own it. So corporation is basically which can be taxed, it can also be sued, and it can enter into contractual agreements as well. Corporation basically, it has a life of its own and it does not dissolve when the ownership changes. It remains intact. So what a corporation is, it is an artificial being which is invisible, it is also intangible, and it exists only in contemplation of law. Characteristics of a corporation. So it is considered as a separate legal entity, which we read in its meaning. Formation after completing formalities under the Companies Act of 1956. So it can be formed, a corporation can be formed only after completing the formalities which are stated in the Companies Act of 1956. Then the management and ownership, it is complete, and the capital raised through shares, they are transferable. The capital which is raised through the shares of that corporation, it can be transferred. Advantages of a corporation. So limited liability. Limited liability in a sense that the liability of the investors, they are limited to the amount of the investments that they make. Then ease of raising capital. Ease of raising capital is said because a corporation, it is usually considered as very effective in accumulating capital. Ease of ownership transfer. Transfer of ownership can be done very easily, like we said in its characteristics as well. Continuity. It can be continued for an indefinite period. So a corporation, since it does not depend on any one person, so it can be continued for an indefinite period. Then diffused risk. Diffused risk is said because since if a corporation is running into loss, so the sense of loss, it is spread over a large number of investors who have invested in the corporation. So the possibility of hardships, it is to a few persons only, so it is mostly minimized. So an individual person solely in trade, he incurs less loss. Scope for expansion. So corporation has a large scope for expansion due to vast aggregation of capital and also because of its self-generating growth. Just of a corporation. So a corporation, its formation is not very easy. Then delay in policy decisions. The delay in the policy decisions of a corporation happens a lot. Then excessive government control. So a state, it is subjected to more of legal reporting and regulations by the government. Double taxation. Double taxation is said because mostly corporations, since it is a separate legal entity, it pays taxes both on the state as well as the local level. So there is double taxation. Increased regulations by law. That is said because a company, since it is for a long period, it has huge capital, so it is closely regulated. Cooperative society. So this is also the last type of business organization that we are going to study in this video. So cooperative society, it is an association of people or business to achieve an economic goal with a social perspective. So people in a cooperative society, they come together voluntarily and they form an organization, a society, to achieve an economic goal with any perspective, social or economic perspective. In a cooperative society, there is no maximum limit to how many persons can constitute a cooperative society. However, there is a minimum limit of 10 members. And like I said in its meaning, that is a voluntary association, so n number of people can come together and form this cooperative society for any objective that they want to achieve. Registration done under a particular act. There is a particular act of which cooperative society you want to register under, so you can do the same. Then privileges granted after registration. Obviously, after registering with a cooperative society, there are certain privileges which are granted to the persons who register, since they then become the part of the cooperative society. Advantages: its formation is very easy because you just have to register. Then the liability, it is limited liability, as in a sense to how much capital you invest or whatever you invest in the cooperative society for your goal to be achieved. Your liability is limited to that investment itself. Then there is stability and continuity. Mutual help: since the members come together voluntarily, there is mutual help. Then democratic management, so there is no hierarchy or no misuse of power given to different people. Everyone is considered equal, since all of them registered under the same act and came together voluntarily. So there is democratic management. Then there is state assistance as well. Disadvantages of a cooperative society: possibility of conflicts. This is said because since people do not know each other and they come together and register under the same cooperative society, so there is a possibility of conflicts due to divergent views of people. Then there is long decision making process. The decision making process is long because a large number of people, since there are infinite number of members that can be involved in a cooperative society, so decision making process, it takes a long time. Not enough capital. Like I said, it is limited to the liability. There is limited liability, so it is limited to what people are willing to invest. So there is not enough capital in a cooperative society. Then limited scope. Also the scope is limited. Then absence of business secrecy. There is less secrecy due to you cannot, since there are less restrictions which can be imposed, there is no central authority, so obviously there is absence of business secrecy, and you never know if anyone can reveal anything major about the cooperative society to anyone else. Then there is insufficient management. Since there is no central authority, the management, it is insufficient, though democratic, but it is insufficient. So this is all, guys. This was part 2 of the topic business organization and its types, its forms. So we have studied 5 types of business organizations in 2 videos. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share Legality Viability.